To up your grade a little bit to an A, you can add handles or you can add a lid. A lip is kind of the minimum requirement for a B. And as you can see on this, my coil pod here, if I leave it like this, it has a lip. And what I did around the edge, look how blended it is on the inside too. Blended, blended. What I did is called roping. So first thing I did is I rolled a coil that was fatter. All right. And this fatter coil I put on the top. And that kind of adds like a punctuation to the pod and it makes it look nicer. And then I also did what's called roping. And so that's where I took like this dowel rod and I just pressed it in. So if I were to take this piece of clay and I just continued parallel lines the way I'm pressing it in, this is roping. Okay, and it looks really cool. It looks like a rope, right? So I did it after I attached the coil though, and I just went into the pot with it around, okay? But I actually made a lid. Okay, so this is my little lid I made. I made it by putting 3 coils together, and then I also roped the bottom one. And I'm gonna put that right there, all right? And so I have made a lidded container out of mine, okay? So there's different ways you can make a lid. That's the way I made mine. It's just coils that were blended on the inside, then with a little round ball of a pull up here, okay? Now, let's talk about some other type of lips real quick. One thing I could do is I roll a coil, once again, that's bigger than the others. And then I'm going to take something like maybe my dowel rod, and I'm just gonna roll it a little flatter. All right, and then I'm gonna do that to the other side too. So I'm just making it kind of a flat shape now. It was a coil. One student is going to make kind of a scalloped lip. And so that's one way that this could happen. So now if I take this and I just, so it looks like this, and I turn it, let's look up. What we end up with is a coil that is flat and that makes a lip that kind of sticks out on the edges. So you can see how that would look like a lip. Now I could also take this and I could put it in my fingers. And this is one way to make that scalloped edge. So this could go all the way around the top of the pot as well for a lip. So clay is pretty forgiving in that you can do different things, you can try different things and see what works best. Just remember, you got to score, slip, press, and knit, right? Okay, so those are lips, different types of lips. You can also look at all the class examples and get a lot of ideas. All right, so what I want to talk about next are handles. I'm going to add handles to mine, and I'm going to start with a coil. And then, just like the pinwheels, if I do one size, I want to match the other one. So I'm going to line these up so that they're the same size, because you don't want a handle on one side that's bigger and a handle on the other side that's smaller. You need them to be symmetrical. So I have 2 coils. Now I can take these. I could do something like this, where I just attach them. I prefer if they raise up a little bit, and then I would want to make sure I'm exactly on the opposite side and the same height the other side, and then you score, slip, press, and knit where they go. You could do something like that. I like to try different things though. So if I take the ends, and I need to make mine a little thinner. All right. So now if I take them and I roll them a little bit, I'm starting on the edges, kind of like the pinwheels. And I'm just trying to be even. Okay, so now with this, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, right? And then I would stack them to make sure they're the same, and they're the same, all right? So from here, these are some of my favorite types of handles. I'm going to take the lid off so it doesn't fall. This handle now, I could place like this, which I think that's a little more decorative for my style of pot that I'm doing. I would just want them even. You could put them up here, but I like them like this, honestly. Unfortunately, I can't show you and hold it. So that would look like that, and I would have another one on the other side. You can also give a little twist to it and then it kind of looks like wrought iron. And then you can put that on. That sometimes gets a little messy for people, but that's another way to do it. You can actually take these and pull them all the way together and put them on as well, like a handle like that. And that still looks cool, I think. All right, another type of handle I want to show you real quick, because I know we're getting to the end of class. If I take a little slab of clay, like a pancake, I'm going to cut an arc out of here, and then I'm going to cut another arc down here. So I've kind of made a leaf shape. All right. Now I could look for designs. I could rope this again. So I'm just going to do some of this roping texture on it. And this will kind of tie into my lip too, actually, as I think about it. So I've just kind of roped on it real quick. Now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to pick one side and I'm going to cut a bevel on it. So I'm cutting it at an angle, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So that it's like that on one side and the other side is flat. And then if I turn it like this, I can attach it to the side of the pot somewhere like this. And then that's what that kind of handle looks like. So I'm not really sure what kind of handle I'm going to do yet. I'm going to keep experimenting with it. And maybe by tomorrow I'll have figured it out with my next ceramics class. One more before I let you guys go here type of handle that often looks cool is if you take like a pizza slice, actually is what that looks like, and I roll it around my fingers. So what I'm ending up with is like a concave nose, I guess. I'm going to roll it like this, and then I'm going to put it here, but I'm going to kind of just squish it up, kind of like that. And then I would clean that up a little bit. And when it's glazed, that looks really messy right now, I know, but when it's glazed, it doesn't look so messy. So there is really no wrong way to make a handle. There's just ways that aren't even. So you want to make sure if you're doing two handles, well, you should do two handles unless you're making a picture, that you have them even on both sides. And what I always do is I mark the pot. So if I was going to put a handle right here, I would mark right here. Then I would come up and I would look on top and I would go directly across and I would mark here. And wherever you want those handles, you have to be sure to score, slip, press, and knit both sides. So if it's touching here and here, we want them both scored here, scored here, scored here, scored here, slip, put between, and then you press them together. All right. And that's the easiest way to make some handles. And you can honestly take any of your little scraps of clay, if you have them laying around, and do something fun with them and see if it makes a neat handle. All right. I feel like Bob Ross. There's no bad handles. There's just handles. All right. So